One Japanese company earns a higher operating profit margin than Apple, not on iPhones or software, but on commodity plastic. The same company supplies roughly 30% of the silicon wafer market that every advanced AI chip on Earth depends on. Its annual revenue exceeds $700 billion. Its name is Shin-Etsu Chemical. Almost nobody outside Japan has heard of it.
That invisibility is not accidental. Shin-Etsu has never run a consumer advertising campaign. Its products are not on shelves. It sells to engineers, not end users. It operates at a layer of the industrial economy so foundational that most people never think to ask where it begins.
Two industries, both at number one globally, both operating on the same doctrine: never compete on price, never add capacity on speculation, and never sell a unit at a margin you wouldn't accept for the next 20 years. Understanding how a fertilizer company from Shin-Etsu or Slick ended up controlling critical inputs for both construction materials and A chips tells you something important, not just about Shin-Etsu, but about how Japan builds durable competitive advantage.
The silicon foundation. Every semiconductor chip begins with a silicon wafer. Not the silicon in beach sand, that material is too impure by several orders of magnitude. A chip-grade wafer is a 300 mm disc of single-crystal silicon grown atom by atom from a polysilicon seed, then polished to flatness within a few nanometers across its entire surface. Growing one requires controlling temperature to within fractions of a degree Celsius for hours at a stretch. A single particle of dust at the wrong moment is a production loss.
Shin-Etsu started producing high-purity silicon in Senju-Glucosdien by the time the semiconductor industry scaled through the 1980s and 1990s. Shin-Etsu had accumulated decades of process knowledge that competitors could not replicate quickly. Today, along with Japan's SUMC Corporation, Shin-Etsu accounts for roughly 4% of the global market for 300 mm wafers, the size used in advanced logic production. At the leading edge, where 3 nanometer and 2 nanometer chips are manufactured, concentration is tighter still. As we covered in episode 1, Japanese companies hold dominant positions at nearly every critical choke point in the
Shin-Etsu is the first in that chain. In December, Shin-Etsu inaugurated its Shirakawa facility, a new 300 mm line with annual capacity of Lokshuan wafers targeting 2 nanometer logic. The timing was deliberate. Wafer shipments rose approximately 6% in the first quarter of Nathan Nishuluk according to SWMI industry data. With AI data center demand accounting for the largest share of that growth. TSMC has publicly stated that its advanced node capacity is about 3 times short of current AI demand. Enbu IDI alone reportedly booked between Hachijuwan and Hachijuwan wafers for Nathan Nishuluk, a number.
Shin-Etsu's response to this explosion in demand is characteristically restrained expansion only against long-term agreements, often requiring prepayments. The company does not add capacity on speculation. The Shirakawa line was years in planning, built against existing customer commitments. This is not caution born of weakness. It is a deliberate doctrine. When demand outpaces supply, the company with constrained production controls the price.
The plastic paradox. In August, Nittany Asia ran a headline that stopped readers cold. Shin-Etsu beats Apple's operating margin with commodity-grade PVC, polyvinyl chloride. The plastic in water pipes, hospital tubing and window frames is not supposed to be profitable at Apple levels. It is the definition of a commodity. Chinese producers have flooded the global market. Raw material costs swing with oil and natural gas. Yet Shin-Etsu's PVC operations have consistently delivered margins that would impress a software analyst.
The origin of Shin-Etsu's PVC empire is worth understanding. In 1990, an American manufacturer called Shintech approached Shin-Etsu seeking to license its PVC processing technology. The man running the company at the time, Shihiro Kanagawa, declined the licensing structure and proposed a joint venture instead. Licensing, in Kanagawa's view, meant surrendering knowledge for a one-time payment while losing control of how it was deployed. The result was Shintech, established in Houston, Texas in 1973.
Kanagawa was born in March 1973, the same year Shin-Etsu was founded, and died in January 2023 at age 96. His career at Shin-Etsu spanned 6 decades and encompassed nearly the entire arc of Japan's post-war industrial rise. The Shintech decision embodied his operating philosophy: own the process, protect the margin, never license away what decades of effort built.
Today, Shintech is the world's largest PVC producer. In March 2024, Shintech announced a $40 billion investment in its Plaquemine, Louisiana facility, adding a second ethylene unit and a fourth chlor-alkali and vinyl chloride monomer production unit. Once complete, the expansion will give Shintech full vertical integration on American soil, from the most basic chemical inputs through finished PVC resin. When a company controls every step of its supply chain, it is insulated from the spot market volatility that crushes competitors' margins. The Chinese overproduction that destabilizes the broader PVC market becomes someone else's structural problem.
The operating doctrine. The two businesses, crystalline silicon and plastic resin, look nothing alike. They serve different customers in different industries with different manufacturing chemistries, but they run on identical principles.
The first is precision over price. Silicon wafer flatness tolerances are measured in angstroms, a unit smaller than the diameter of a single atom. Shin-Etsu applies equally obsessive process control to its PVC operations. When your product is demonstrably more precise than any competitors, you don't need to discount it.
The second is commitment before capital. In both divisions, manufacturing investment follows signed customer agreements, not demand forecasts. This eliminates the inventory cycle boom-bust that destroys margins at less disciplined producers. Shin-Etsu's capex is boring by design.
The third is vertical integration as a moat, owning upstream inputs, polysilicon in wafers, VCM, and chlor-alkali in PVC, means external price shocks hit competitors harder than they hit Shin-Etsu. The company absorbs volatility rather than passing it through.
The financial results reflect these principles. Shin-Etsu reported FY 2023 revenue of approximately $17 billion, 10 trillion yen, and operating income of roughly $9 billion, 940 billion yen, according to its financial filings, an operating margin of around 20%. That is a figure more commonly associated with enterprise software than with chemical manufacturing. The company also completed a 500 billion yen share buyback program by mid-to enter returning capital at a pace that signals confidence in the durability of its cash generation.
The Japan factor. In an era when quarterly earnings pressure pushes most Western industrial companies toward volume growth at any cost, Shin-Etsu represents a model that is genuinely difficult to sustain outside of Japan's institutional ownership environment. Japanese insurance companies, trust banks, and cross-shareholding networks hold substantial portions of Shin-Etsu's stock. They do not demand explosive growth. They reward consistent compounding returns over decades. This patient capital base is what makes the margins over volume doctrine operationally sustainable, not just theoretically appealing.
There is also a cultural dimension that resists easy quantification. The same obsessive tolerance for process variation that defines Shin-Etsu's wafer production, the plismon s ladian laik toms li temperature controls, the sub-nanometer surface uniformity, runs through every part of the company. It is the same instinct that produced Toyota's production system and Keience's hardware margins. Japan's hidden champions tend to apply engineering culture not just to manufacturing but to pricing discipline and capital allocation as well.
Chihiro Kanagawa spent gouges of sheen years watching Japan rebuild from wartime rubble, lose the Diowasu Wars to Korea, navigate the lost decades, and re-emerge as the indispensable supplier of the components everyone else depends on. The company he shaped reflects that long view, Build the thing nobody else can build. Sell it at the margin you deserve. Wait.
If you want to keep up with stories like this, subscribe to the Japan Factor. The silicon EPI wafer market is projected to grow 40% between 40% and 40% fashion per Globe Newswire research, driven entirely by AI and next-generation semiconductor demand. Every chip in that expansion begins on a substrate. Most of those substrates come from two Japanese companies. One of them also makes your water pipes, earns margins that Apple's CFO would envy, and has been quietly executing the same doctrine for 100 years.
The question worth holding is this: in a world where demand for AI compute is structurally unlimited, what is the strategic value of being the company that has always, deliberately refused to oversupply it?